Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. I'm Will Cain in for Tucker. Disturbing phone calls started coming into Jacksonville Sheriff's Police Office on a Wednesday night just a few weeks ago. Motorists had reported seeing a man covered in blood walking along the highway, and then he disappeared into the woods. When authorities finally arrested the man the next morning, they identified him as a Honduran migrant named Medina Ulloa. Now, Ulloa claimed to be a teenager. Authorities followed the trail of blood left by Medina Ulloa to find his victim, a 46-year-old father of four. And security cameras showed Ulloa stabbing the man multiple times and beating him to death with a chair in his own home. Just a terrible story. Now, investigators suspected Ulloa was lying about his identity, so they checked in with the Honduran consulate. And that's when they found out that Medina Ulloa is not, in fact, a teenager. He's actually 23 years old, and he's in this country illegally. So how did he get here? It turns out Ulloa did not sneak across the border. He didn't overstay his visa. No, instead, according to a report in the New York Post, Ulloa crossed the border under a fake name, pretending to be an unaccompanied minor. And in keeping with the Biden administration's immigration policies, he was led into the country. He was placed into a shelter, and then he was released. The Biden administration then reportedly put Ulloa on a secret resettlement flight to Florida. Now, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has called this what it is. It's a deliberate effort by the Biden administration to endanger American citizens in exchange for political power.
This individual has been detained, should have never been in this country to begin with, and definitely should not have been dumped in the state of Florida. And so these are middle-of-the-night flights. No notification to the state or anybody, and this is not the way you keep people safe.
No, it's not. The Biden administration isn't just letting record number of illegal immigrants cross our borders, they're bringing them here. And they're prohibiting immigration authorities from deporting any of them, even ones with violent criminal records. To be clear, this is against the law. Section 236C of the Immigration and Nationality Act requires ICE to arrest and hold almost all removable criminal aliens. Congress passed that law, and Joe Biden is simply ignoring it. The same way he ignores pesky questions at a press conference by turning his back and shuffling away. He's shuffling away from this problem. Now, that's why the state of Texas is currently suing the Biden administration. They want the law enforced. And as part of that lawsuit, we're starting to learn much more about the kind of people the Biden administration is allowing to stay in this country. Jason Clark, he's the chief of staff of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. He said in an affidavit obtained by this show that ICE has rescinded detainers for at least 130 illegal immigrants between January 20th and October 20th. So what does that mean, rescinding detainers? That means ICE no longer wants to take custody of these illegal immigrants when they are released in order to deport them. ICE shows no interest, is following their orders not to deport these criminals. Now look, to give you just an idea of how unprecedented this is, no detainers, zero, were rescinded in this same time period 1 year ago. These aren't just minor criminals we're talking about that ICE is refusing to deport. Clark's affidavit states that one of the illegal immigrants allowed to stay in this country is a man named Rolando Camacho, and he was convicted of intoxicated manslaughter with a vehicle. Another example, Charles Mainsa. He was in prison for theft of property worth more than $2,500. He was released from Texas custody in February. ICE never arrested him. They dropped his detainer. Luis Ala Rodriguez was released from a Texas prison in September. He was there for having multiple DWIs. And Yulisa Espinoza had her detainer dropped by ICE in March. She was locked up for credit card abuse, and when police arrested her, they found her with card numbers that matched 15 different food stamp cards. But nothing tops 24-year-old Jose Reyes. Reyes was arrested by ICE in 2018. He was later released from ICE custody, and less than a year after that, Reyes was convicted of drunk driving. He was again released, and then he decided to become a poet. He spoke at an open border protest that attacked ICE for enforcing federal immigration laws.
Dear America, our administration has failed. They passed laws against our people, took away our rights and our freedom, and still expect to be held? Childish. Dear America, you and your administration cause fear through separation. Instead of building trust with our people, do y'all prefer this racial tension? Oppressed. I live my life in frustration. Private prisons, political funding, mass incarceration, you make the connection. It's time to begin standing up for what's right. Criminalizing children, separating families, our national security, does this make it all right?
Beautiful. You can tell by the music. Less than 48 hours after he read that very moving poem, Reyes was arrested again by ICE. Most of the media treated it like an outrage. In fact, two NFL athletes, Washington Redskins cornerback Josh Norman and New Orleans Saints linebacker Demario Davis, helped pay for Reyes' bail. Now, tonight, Reyes is on the run again, but this time for allegedly murdering a 58-year-old man and throwing his body in an orchard. I wonder, is there a poem for that? The Biden administration's so-called Build Back Better Act would help a lot more people like Jose Reyes get out of jail. It would require DHS to grant parole to virtually every illegal alien who's lived in this country for the past decade. And that means they can stay here without any fear of deportation. The Democrats' bill would allow illegal immigrants with DUI convictions and even gang members to qualify for parole. And you, by the way, would be paying for this amnesty. $2.8 billion is allocated in the bill to process applications for amnesty as, quote, efficiently as possible. In other words, the White House isn't upset that people like Jose Reyes or Medina Lower are getting out of jail. They're upset that it's taking them so long to be sprung on the public.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.